Okay, welcome back to another video of the Bootstrap development course. So, in the last video we created our first row, or our first container actually, with some nice navigation, or with a logo, some social navigation and a login button. The login button looks really cool. And in this video we're going to create a new container. So we're going to check where the container ends. That's going to be this one. Here the container is ending. And I actually think we need an extra closing div there. Okay, so now it works. So, under the first container, that's on line 32, we're going to start a div class, and we're going to create a second container. So, second container. Inside there, we're going to open up a row, of div class of row, and we're going to give this a second class, and we're going to call this content row. Close it, and inside here we're going to create two columns. So when we check the design, we have one column, we have two columns here. So we're going to do div class of a call dash sm dash 12, call dash md dash 6, call dash lg dash 6, and call dash xl dash 6. Close it up, and we're going to copy this container or this column, so we don't need to do something else. So we're going to open up the first container, and what we're going to of the first column, and what we're going to do in there, we're going to call it div class, and we're going to call this content. No, we're going to call this heading, because this is all the information that we are going to add into it, right? So inside the heading, we're going to do a paragraph of class, and we're going to call this heading dash p. Open that one up, and in here we're going to write version 3.0 now available. Pretty cool. And under the P, we're going to open up a new one, and we're going to call h1 of class heading dash h1. Close it, and here we're going to write a whole new LMS, and then parentheses learn management system. Pretty cool. So because now we are starting to work with text, we're actually gonna look for our font, and we're gonna use Oxygen font. So we're gonna Google it. We go to Google Fonts. Google Fonts is an open source library from Google where you can use fonts. And here we're going to check for the Oxygen. And that's this one. Pretty cool. I really like this font. And we're just going to import it. So we're going to use the Light 300. We're going to use regular, and we're going to use bold. Then we go to embed. And we're going to copy here the CSS rules. But first, import this one. So we're going to copy this line, so import or add import in URL, and we're going to paste that above body. Okay, now we go back to Google Fonts, and we're going to copy the font family here, and we're going to add font family to body. So this means that all the fonts that all the text that is written inside the body is going to be the Oxygen family. So we're going to save this, and now on the second container we're going to call dot second container. We're going to give this a margin dash left of auto. We're going to give this a margin dash right of auto, and we're going to give this a max width of 2000 pixels. Okay, pretty cool. On the second container, we're going to call dot heading, On the dot heading, we're going to call dot heading dash p. And on the heading p, we're going to call dot heading dash h1. And from the h1, we're going to give it the color of white. We're going to give it the size of 55 pixels. No, not size, we're going to give the font size. Font size, okay. Pretty cool. We're going to give the heading P a color. And let's see which color we are using on the design. I'm going to call it out for you to, I'm going to call it out to you now. I'm going to paste it here as well. Yeah, that's the version text here. We're going to copy the color here. And we're going to put it right here. Save both files. Let's check how this looks. Well, as you can see, it's still not really aligned pretty well. But that doesn't matter, does it? So, we also have to give the, I think this is bold, yeah it is. So we also have to give the heading one, we're going to give it a font weight of bold. Save it. Let's see how this looks. That's a lot better. Perfect. So let's go back. Now we're going to give the heading, we're going to give it some spacing on margins. So we're going to give it a margin dash top of 150 pixels. Let's save that. Let's see how this looks. Maybe a little bit more, huh? Maybe a little bit more spacing. Or are we okay with it that it's so close to the sides? Let's see how this... Yeah, why not? We can always change it later. Maybe let's check if we give it a margin dash top. Or maybe we can center it, right? So give it the margin left of auto. We can also give the margin dash right of auto. This way we center the header inside the oh, actually we're not centering it. Why aren't we centering it? Heading margin left. Because we don't have a width actually. Let's say we give this of 20 pixels. Give this a 20 pixels. And now it's gonna. Now it's actually in the middle. But if we give it an auto, and we give it also a width. So let's say instead of margin left, we give this as an auto. And we're gonna give this an auto. And we're gonna give this a width of maybe 500 pixels. Now it's gonna center here, nice in the middle. This looks really nice. Only problem is, I think when we make the screen smaller on really small devices, we have to change it. But for now, this looks pretty nice actually. Okay. So on the design, we also have these three here. And what we're gonna do here, this is gonna be really interesting. We're gonna actually, under the div, we're gonna call a new row. Yes, and what we're gonna do here, we're gonna nest a row inside a column, and inside there we're gonna call 3 more columns. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna call div class or row, and we're gonna call this nested row. And inside here we're gonna make 3 columns, so that is gonna be div class of col-4. And let's copy this one, let's paste it, and I think we don't really need to call, we're gonna try this out, I'm not sure, but I don't think we need to call extra columns here, so the smaller one or the bigger ones, because it's gonna resize anyway. So what we're gonna do in here, we're gonna call a p of class, and we're gonna call this practical dash info, close it. And in here we're gonna write built-in, or how is it called on the built-in? Built-in is not really nice, I think. Maybe it's better built with. So we're gonna write built with, okay. And we're also gonna copy this one again. We're gonna paste it inside the column force. Okay, so on the heading one, we're gonna call dot practical dash info. And let's check. I'm gonna call out the colors for you guys. Okay, so we're gonna give this a color, and the color is gonna be E4, 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 capital letters. Okay. And we're gonna change the second one here in the index.html to running on. And the third one we're gonna change to database. We're gonna save this, and let's see how this looks. Pretty cool. But as you can see, this is not really working because we needed more to that side. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna take the nested row. Above practical info, we're gonna call dot nested row, and we're gonna give this a width of 500 pixels, and we're gonna give this a margin dash left of auto, and we're gonna give this a margin dash right of auto. Let's see if this works. Yes, this works. Perfect. Okay, so then we're gonna give this some spacing, the nested row. We're gonna give this a margin top, margin dash top of 15 pixels. Okay, and under the P here, we're gonna call another P of class practical info, and we're gonna give this system, just system, really easy, because these are system preferences and we're not gonna use it anymore. So, and then we can copy paste this one as well, and we're gonna paste it under the paragraphs. And in the first one we're gonna call Swift. The second one we're gonna call Ubuntu 20.04, and the third one we're gonna call PostgreSQL. Okay, so practical info already has a color. It looks pretty nice like this. Let's refresh it. Okay. Then we go back. And under practical info, we're going to call system.system. And we're going to give this a color of white. And under there, we're going to give this a font size of 10 pixels. Save both files. Let's see how this looks. Ooh. Maybe you have to make the practical info. We're going to give this a font size of maybe 18 pixels. And we gave the system, we're going to give 14 pixels. Let's see how this looks. No, I'm not happy with this yet. Let's make the font size 20 pixels from the practical info. And we're going to change font size from system to 16 pixels. Yeah, this looks a lot better. Pretty cool. This is truly, I'm really happy with this actually. This looks really amazing. Let's check this out. Pretty cool. But we're going to give this a little bit more spacing on the top from the row, so nested row. And we're going to make this 25 pixels. Yes. Pretty cool. Okay, so what we did here, we nested actually a row inside a column. And there are a few rules with this. You only can nest a row inside a column if the top living parent, so the column or the row above that, is nested inside a container, so a div class. And as long as you use div classes, because each div class is a container, you can nest rows inside a row. A lot of people tell you, I think other courses will tell you this is bad practice, but it is actually inside the documentation from Bootstrap that you're allowed to do this. And if it's inside documentation, I think you can do it. So that was the first column. So the second column, we're gonna build a card. So let's go to Bootstrap, get bootstrap.com, and we're gonna call card. And we're actually gonna call the easiest card we have. So that is under the content types body, because we're gonna change it ourselves. So inside here we're gonna paste the card. Pretty cool. So on the system we're gonna call .card. We're gonna give this a background dash color of white. We're gonna give this a width of 20 rem, I think, and we're gonna give this a height of 30 rem. Let's see if this works, because I have no idea. Let's see how this looks. Ooh. But this should be in the nested row, of in the... Ah, we called heading instead of content row. Now I understand. So we're gonna change a little bit. We have here the margin top of 150 inside the heading. We're gonna cut this, and on the second row we're gonna call dot content dash row. Right? Yeah, and we're gonna paste here the margin top in, and when we save this, it should all be nice. Yes, now it works. So what we did here, and this is exactly how coding works. So this was like a golden example of how web development actually works, because we use the margin top in here in heading, and then I noticed that the card was higher than the content. So that's why we created the content row class before, because I thought maybe we can use it, and now we actually used it by changing the margin to it, and so we don't need to do margin top on 2 second occasions. Pretty amazing. I'm really happy with this. Really cool that I had the chance to show you this. So in the cards we're gonna do a margin dash right of auto. We're gonna do a margin dash left of auto, so that we have it nice and centered. And we're gonna give the width. We're gonna make the width a little bit more. Maybe we're gonna give this a height of 40 rem and a width of 30. Let's see how this looks. This is too big. Let's see what the design says. The designs is height of 440 pixels and 262. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna, instead of rem, we're gonna use we're gonna use pixels, and the height was, let's check it again, is 462. 462 pixels. Pretty cool. So let's check this out. Okay, this looks really nice. So let's check the design. What do we need? We don't really have a heading here yet. I didn't really write it, but we're gonna add one. So inside the card, we're gonna delete this. Inside here, we're gonna call h3 of class, and we're gonna call this blaze. Now we're gonna call this flame. Okay, and here we're gonna call flame subscription. Okay, and under the card, we're gonna call dot flame. We're gonna give this a color, and we're gonna give this the same color as the version tag, the version text, because I really like that pink. Okay, let's see how this looks. Yes, this looks nice. And we're gonna give this a font weight of bold, and we're gonna give this a text align of center. Pretty cool. Yes, cool. Okay, and what we need now is an ordered list, or as a list. So under the flame, we're gonna call ul of class flame dash list. So that is like all the stuff you get with the stuff, with the cool things. And then here we're gonna call li of class, and we're gonna call this flame item. Close it, and we're gonna copy this one 5 or 6 times. I don't know how many we have. 2, 3, 4, 5, probably 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, we're gonna add 7. 6 and 7. Then courses, video tutorials, within tutorials. Okay, so the first one is going to be courses. Video tutorials, written tutorials, challenges, portfolio projects, and last but not least, that is certification training and much more. And much more. Much more. Dot, dot, dot. So I'm gonna save this. Let's see how this looks. Okay. So we're gonna, on the flame, we're gonna call dot flame dash list. We're gonna give this a margin dash left of 40 pixels. Let's see how this looks. Maybe 42. 45. I'm sure 45 is going to be the magical number. And we're going to give this a margin top of 20 pixels. Let's see how this looks. Yes, perfect. Okay, so we're going to call the flame item. So on the flame list, we're going to call dot flame item. And we're going to give this a font weight of bold. We're going to give this a margin dash top of 10 pixels. Let's see how this looks. Go away. Ooh. No, I don't like the margin. We're gonna delete the margin top, and we're gonna give this a font size of 18 pixels. Let's see how this looks. Maybe 20. Okay, and then we're gonna check the design again. Then we need a little bit more margin on the top, I think. So we're gonna give this a little bit more margin. Margin top of 30. And what we're gonna do at the flame item, we're gonna call list style type of URL. List style type. Okay, that is going to be images dash leave.png. Let's save this. Let's see if this works. It doesn't. List style. Oh, list style item, I think. List style image. So save this. Okay, we're gonna write this again. List style image of URL. Then we're gonna call images dash leave.png. Save this again. Dash. Ah, okay, I understand already. So if we go on dot dot slash, save it, save it. Theoretically, this should work. Yeah, now it works. So this is also a small learning curve. when you use CSS in a separate folder and you use images in a separate folder, you also have to call the parent class, the parent folder, and that is always dot dot slash. So when you call dot dot slash, the website or the CSS actually knows, oh, I have to look in the folder above me and another folder there. So okay, so we fixed that, and let's see how this looks. This looks pretty cool, but I think we still need some margin on the top as well, just a little bit. So inside flame item, we're gonna do margin dash top, and we're gonna 5 pixels. Let's see how this looks. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so what we need now is gonna be the text of price. So on the UL, we're gonna call h3 of class flame. We're gonna also call the class flame, and we're gonna call here 9.99. Save it. Let's see how this looks. This looks pretty nice. Okay, and the last but not least is the button here. So we're gonna go upstairs, and we have here the href button from the login. We're gonna copy that one, and we're gonna paste it right on the h3. And instead of login, we call this register for free. And instead of login, we're gonna call this register. And under flame item, we're gonna call dot register. And we're gonna check the button stuff we had here from login. We're gonna copy this, save it, copy, paste it on the register, and we're gonna give this a background of linear gradient, and we're gonna give this turn 0.25. No, 0.25 turn, comma. Then we're gonna call the colors here, so that is button left. We're gonna paste it right in here, comma. And we're gonna take the second one, gonna take right, and we're gonna paste it in here. Let's save this. Let's see how this looks. Okay, we're gonna get rid of the border. The border color, we don't need it. We're gonna give this a width of 180 pixels instead of the 150. Okay. Then we're gonna give this a display of block. And we're gonna give this a margin dash left of auto. And we're gonna give this a margin dash right dot auto. Pretty cool. Save it. Still has a border, huh? That's weird. I thought I took the border out. Border radius, width, margin left. We're gonna take the margin left here away. Save it. Border radius, and we're gonna give this a border of none. Save it. Yes, this looks amazing. Pretty cool. So did our design here have some? Yeah, we did. We had a border radius of 10. So what we're gonna do, we go back to our card, and we're gonna give this a border dash radius of 10 pixels. Let's save this. Let's see how this looks. Yeah, this looks amazing. Let's see how this looks on mobile. So on smaller screens looks nice. As you can see, it's still overlapping here a little bit, and that is because the card is too big. The card is going outside its constraints. So I think instead of using a 6 here, MD, we're gonna call of 12, and above here we're also gonna call an MD of 12. Save this, and let's see how this looks. Yeah, exactly. So, and resize it. And now we're gonna give this a little bit more spacing because this doesn't look really nice. So let's check card. So we're going to give the card, and then on the social buttons we're going to call dot card. We're going to give this a margin dash top of 30 pixels. That's maybe 50, yeah, because it's a mobile. Maybe we can give this a little bit more. Yeah, this looks amazing. Maybe we're going to give this a little bit more spacing as well, but I don't think we need to. Okay, we actually did it. So guys, congratulations on finishing our second container. This looks truly amazing. I'm sorry that the videos in this section are really long, but I think till now we are doing a great job here. We're actually building Devscorch 3 now. So in this video we created 2 columns of 6 on higher resolutions, and it looks truly amazing. We did a really good job here, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys learned something. I hope you guys also don't forget that we did the nested row. So we were nesting rows inside a column. We created a card with some information and a button with register for free. So congratulations on finishing this video, and let's go to the next video, and where we're gonna start with the next container.